Welcome to another video. My name is Amsterdam Comic Geek and I'm so excited to make this video because the last video was about me going comic book shopping and now the comics have arrived because I shopped online and I want to show you what I bought and why. Let's start with this one. Epic Collection The Amazing Spider-Man. This is a story where Venom is first introduced and it's from the run by David Michelinie and Todd McFarlane. This is the first part. There's a second volume. This is volume 18. There's volume 19. That one was not in the store at the moment, so I'll buy that later. I got all these comics in Dutch, but I want to recollect them in English. So this is very exciting. This is great stuff. I really love the run by David Michelinie and Todd McFarlane. McFarlane was quite a superstar back then already, and he became bigger and bigger and got his own Spider-Man series to boot later on, before he started Image with his colleagues and made even bigger records with Spawn. But this is great. This is also the kidnapping of Mary Jane is in here, so this is great stuff from the late 1980s. Speaking of the 1980s, another Spider-Man I bought was Symbiont Spider-Man Alien Reality. It's by Peter David and Greg Land, and although these stories take place in the 1980s when Spider-Man still had his black costume that turned out to be a badass alien that later turned into Venom with Eddie Brock, these stories take place in a very small period of time when Peter wasn't aware that his costume was alive. And I like this period a lot, so I figured these stories are some I really need to read, and I love the Hobgoblin. So I know a lot of people have trouble with Greg Land because he basically redraws people from porn images some of the time, and there are a couple of great videos on his drawing style, but I don't know, there's something to be said for his style. I mean, yes, when it's obviously a redrawn picture from somebody who comes, I'm not sure if that really is appropriate for a Marvel comic, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I really look forward to reading this. Speaking of Spider-Man, because I'm a big Spider-Man fan, is the new Spider-Man by Nick Spencer. I'm trying to collect these. I didn't buy the Hunted one yet because it's quite expensive and I don't want to pay $30 or more for artwork by Humberto Ramos. Sorry, I really don't like his artwork. Usually Ryan Ottley is the artist on this series, but now it's drawn by Patrick Gleason, who's doing a good job as well. And this run is a lot better than the run we had before that, the Dan Slott run. So, and this is Spider-Man 2099. It's like a team up. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think Nick Spencer's run has its ups and downs. It's solid most of the time. I like Peter and MJ being back together again, because I think those guys should just stay together forever. And there shouldn't be a Mephisto kind of solution to dissolving the marriage, I think. Now, another series I've been following in the past was Strangers in Paradise, and actually I like a lot of the stuff Terry Moore does, also Rachel Rising and other series. So when I heard most characters are making an appearance in 5 years, I got very curious. Now, I haven't read a single issue of this series yet, so when I saw there were 2 volumes available of 5 years, I took my chance and bought it immediately. All these comics arrived through the mail yesterday, so I got a big package of comics, which is always a joy. It's like Christmas in August. Doesn't matter, I have to be my own Santa. The world's nuclear powers are in a race to build the Phi Bomb, an apocalyptic weapon that can destroy the Earth. Tambi is determined to stop them, but she'll have to act fast. The prototype will be ready in 5 years. When her team in Russia meets with disaster, Tambi turns to Kachu with a dire call to arms that requires the ultimate sacrifice. All of Terry Moore's series unite as one epic saga in 5 years. At the center of it all is Kachu, the haunted woman with a wild past, who would do anything for Francine, including leave their island paradise to fight the rise of Doomsday device hailed as the last bomb. I really love Terry Moore's art. I think he's a great artist. I think he publishes it himself. He's a self-published artist, so that's something to admire and to support. And I guess you could say that Kachu and Francine are one of the great romances in comics. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. 5 years. The last one I bought is something I couldn't leave on the shelf, and that's this one, Pulp by Ed Brubacher and Sean Phillips. I really like Brubacher's writing style. It's a lot pulpy and crime noir, and he's great at those cliche-like situations and bringing something new to the table. And I like Sean Phillips's artwork a lot. It looks great. The coloring is wonderful. And I'm subscribed to Brubacher's newsletter, so he keeps everyone posted on his projects, and he told in the newsletter that this was coming out, so I put it on my list. Let's see what this story is about. What do you do when you expected to die young, but somehow you didn't? Max Winter used to have a different name and a different life a long time ago. Now in 1930s New York, Max survives by writing thinly disguised tales of the man he used to be for the pulp magazines. Tales of the forgotten frontier and a Wild West outlaw dispensing justice with a six-gun. But as his life begins to crumble and he watches the world move to the brink of war, with Nazis marching across Europe and in the streets of New York City, Max finds himself thinking like an outlaw again. And once he starts down that path, there may be no way back. It's an original graphic novel. I like that because you got a whole story in just one volume. Brubacher really knows his stuff. He knows genre writing, he knows American culture, and most of the time these stories end badly for the main protagonist, the crime noir ones. So I'm curious how this will end. Well, the funny thing is, the shop owner from Cheap Comics also sent me a bunch of singles, bunch of single issues, just for padding and for fun, I suppose. And I want to show you those as well, but I'll leave that for the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like these videos. Please like and subscribe if you like my stuff. Let me know in the comments which of these issues you've read, of these series you've read, and which you liked. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Cheers!